जी।
ये भाई जी दीजिए एक और।
Hello? So population in millions. So India is one of the most populous countries in the world. So how does it affect things? So for example, demography concerning coronavirus. What's your expectation with regards to India as a population? If we are going to relate it with coronavirus or with anything else for that matter. For example, air pollution, water pollution, waste production. Where does India fare in all these things? Anyone?
Hello, hello, doctor. Air pollution is a very big problem in India, but generally in pollution, we are not that progressed or developed.
Okay.
So
Because
pollution is
of
a problem for India.
population, coronavirus, you're one of the top coronavirus infected countries. But that's expected because you are a populous country. Same way with air pollution, water pollution, waste production. Because of your sheer number, what? You are number one. But if we divide it per person, per capita, you are not, for example, per person produces this number of waste. Per person, you are not number one. But collectively, because you are in billions, you are the top waste producer, top air pollution emitter, etc., etc. Hence, the study of demography is important so that you could understand. So, by definition, it's the study of populations and integration of all these population data with social and economic conditions with special references. So, what are these special economic and social conditions we will learn later on? Okay? So demography would involve structure and dynamism. Structure is at a point in time and is not changing. Dynamic over a period of time and it changes from time to time. So structure, age, sex, income, dynamics, birth rate, fertility rate, death rate, and the like. Okay? So sources of demographic data would usually be the census, population dynamic would be your registration of your births and deaths, residence registry, immigration registry, cause of death, etc. Okay, so that would be your coding if we have to look at what would be the causes of death. Okay? You will learn more of that when you become third year students. Okay. So usually it's represented as gender compared to age. So you will see your population pyramids in the following slides, and this is an important concept. This is your age sex pyramid, which demonstrate the demographic structure of the society. So in your exam, expect to see these kind of pyramids, and you have to know what kind of pyramid and what stage is the population. So the horizontal axis, usually that's the life years of women and men alike, and that is the basic unit. Your vertical is the number of persons per age group. And we have different age, sex, pyramid structures. So in our video, you have seen the difference. So there's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. So stage 1 would be a young population with a high birth rate and a high death rate as well. So it is an expanding population. Second, there is a fall in death rate as more people continue to live in the middle age. So stage 2 is also expanding, but it has a high birth rate but a falling death rate. Okay? Stage 3 would be declining birth rate but with a low death rate with more people living up to the middle to late age. And stage 4 is contracting, low birth rate and low death rate, meaning the population is contracting and becoming old. Okay? So, for example, how will you interpret this age sex pyramid? What stage is the Philippines at year 2014 in?
Stage 1, doctor.
Stage 1 because it has a high birth rate and it has a high death rate. Okay, that's correct. So for example, this one in China in 1990, more or less, what stage is China in?
Stage 2 or 3, doctor.
Still stage 1. But what happened? What happened 5 to 10 years ago?
One child policy, I think.
Okay, so there may be an epidemic or famine 5, 10 years ago that may have affected birth rate during those years, thereby decreasing the number of children 5 to 10 years old. Okay? So that is how you could interpret this. For example, China 2013, what happened to their population?
One child policy.
So they have a low birth rate, decrease in births. So what happens is they have few young children, a lot of middle-aged people, and then a few older people. And every scenario affects your age sex pyramid. So for example, this is Japan. You know that Japan often postpones giving birth and focused on their career. So they have their few births, they live longer, so they would have a ballooning age sex pyramid, more of stage 3 to stage 4. Okay? So know how to interpret your age sex pyramid. So study this table, know when it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, examples of each, relate it to birth, death rate, when it increases and why it changes. Okay? I will leave that for your self-study. So, study this table. And we have different population dynamics that drive different demographic changes. So it would be your biosocial phenomena. So this is birth and death rate. And social phenomena, meaning internal migration that is moving from one region to the next. Okay? So this is your birth rate. So it means live birth that occurs when a fetus exists in the maternal body and eventually has a heartbeat, has pulsation, and has movement. Complete birth is the infant's entire separation from maternal body of the cord after 42 completed weeks. So since you do not have your obstetrics yet, by definition, singleton is one offspring. Multiple, you have two or more offsprings. Preterm is less than 37 weeks or less than 259 days. Low weight is any infant less than 2,500 grams. So to get the crude birth rate, you get the number of live births over your mid-year population, and that is times 1,000, and that is your crude birth rate. Okay? So using Hungary as an example, number of birth is 85,000, mid-year population is 10 million. You plug in the values and you will get 8.5. Same way with preterm, you get the number of preterm births over the number of live births times 100. Okay? So these are some of your demographic indicators. Same way with low birth weight, you plug in the values, number of low birth weight infants over the number of all live births times 100, and you will get the value. So fertility is a childbearing capacity of the population represented by women between ages 15 and 49 years. Although you know that some may get pregnant before 15, some may get pregnant after 49 years, we in general use 15 to 49 years. And then we can get your general fertility rate, age-specific fertility rate, and your total fertility rate. Okay. So your total fertility rate is your average number of children a woman would bear during her reproductive lifetime, assuming her childbearing conforms to her age-specific fertility rate every year of her childbearing years. So to get your TFR, you just sum the corresponding per year of fertility of the woman. A TFR, short to say, a TFR more than 2 means your population is growing. A TFR less than 2 means your population is decreasing. So, for example, you would see that Africa would have population growth of more than 2, and your developed countries would have population growth less than 2. So, they would be decreasing. India would be at the middle ground but still a little over 2. Philippines over 2 as well. Okay? Mortality is your death rate, and it's a relationship of your death cases over the whole population. So are there two basic types? It's general or your crude mortality rate and specific mortality rate. Age specific, cause specific, and the like. Okay? So this is the formula for your crude mortality rate. This is like your crude birth rate. So it's the number of death cases over your mid-year population. Age, you specify the age, and then over the mid-year population of the specific segment times 1,000. Sex specific, you also get the death cases of that cohort, mid-year population of that cohort, and then multiply by 1,000. So for infant mortality rate, so that's the number of deaths of infants under 1 year in a given year per 1,000 live births occurring in the same year. So this rate is divided up to 4 subgroups and often used as an indicator of the level of health in a country. So number of infants deceased over number of infants under 1 year. So there are different indicators for infant. So one is perinatal mortality within 24 hours. The second is postnatal mortality within the first week of life. Neonatal mortality, death occurring at 7 to 27 days of life. And post-neonatal mortality, death occurring between 28 and 365 days of life. So know the following definitions. So this is your formula for general infant mortality rate and perinatal mortality rate. So you have to know your definition so you know what number of infants to divide, what numerator to use. This is your postnatal, neonatal, and post-neonatal mortality rate. So you have to know the definition 0 to 6, 7 to 27, and 28 to 365. In summary, this would be your fetal losses, intrauterine deaths, and your infant deaths, extrauterine. So that would comprise abortion, your stillbirths, perinatal mortality, neonatal, and post-neonatal mortality presented visually. Abortion, so that's your fetal loss, has a different category. So it's defined as the total sum of fetal death cases and induced abortions. So regardless of induced legally or by spontaneous matter, it does not matter in statistics. So fetal death rate would be number of fetal death cases over the number of infants born in a given year. So for maternal mortality, special case of a sex-related mortality. So it represents death cases of women who died during pregnancy and childbirth, including first 42 days after the delivery. This is the definition of your WHO. So since the number is small, it's computed per 100,000 live births. So number of maternal deaths over number of infants times 100,000. Okay? Cost related would depend on your type of death, and your life expectancy would be the average number of years an individual of a given age is expected to live if current age-specific mortality rates continue to accrue. Okay? So at birth, so average number of years a newborn is expected to live if current mortality structure persists throughout its life. It could also be according to gender, and it's a measure and indicator of current health and mortality conditions. So population growth is computed as crude birth rate minus crude death rate. So let us answer this crossword puzzle to end our activity. So who has the answer to number 1? Summarize and present data. Answer is
Descriptive.
descriptive data. Of course,
Information.
the answer is descriptive. That's correct. Okay. Number 2, statistics in life sciences. What's the answer?
Biostatistics.
Biostatistics.
Number 2 is biostatistics. That's correct. 3, across. Meaningful 0 point exists.
Ratio.
Again.
Ratio.
Ratio. That's correct. Meaningful 0 point exists. Okay? That we will have another lecture that would focus on rates and ratio. Number 4 down. Blank statistical method is a confirmatory data analysis.
Differential.
Anyone has the answer?
Inferential.
Number 4 is inferential. That's correct. Number 5, Cause and frequency of illness. 5 across.
Incidence.
Morbidity.
Is morbidity. That's correct. Number 6, normal distribution.
Variables, ma'am.
Status.
Status.
Number 6, down. Normal distribution is
Gaussian
your
distribution.
variant.
Variance. Oh my God.
Okay. Number 7, type of vital statistic,
Variation.
Fertility.
marriages. Okay. 8, founder of vital statistics,
Grunt.
it's grounds. Okay. Number 9, variable categories are used as labels. Number 9 down,
Qualitative.
qualitative. That's correct. Number 10, lowest level of measurement,
Nominal.
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 nominal. Number 11, classes can be ordered. If it's not nominal, it's
Ordinal.
all right.
Ordinal.
Number 12, integral values only,
Discrete.
Discrete.
Discrete. Discrete.
discrete. Number 13, the father of biostatistics,
Galton.
Galton.
Number 14,
Newton.
has
Interval.
equal distances between classes.
Interval.
Interval.
Okay. So those are your some of your basic terminologies in biostatistics that is important to learn. Our subsequent lectures would also focus on these topics. Okay, any questions for this lesson? Fairly easy, no computation yet. That is around 2 lectures more. Next week, no computation as well. It's just sources of data. Okay? It's better since I think some of your first semester classes would be having finals. I understand. So at least we will just have light topics till next month. Okay? Your finals are done. Your exam on January, first week of January is your midterms. So finals for this semester would be around June, and we have 2 or 3 more topics before we have our long exam again. Just in case you are wondering. Okay? So
Okay,
next
doctor.
week we have our lectures still. I think we have 3 more lectures before the exam. Any questions?
Owen.
Okay, so if there are no questions, you may leave this call. For the results of the exam, I'm just waiting because since just 28 is would be enrolled, I'm waiting for the update of the list. So as of now, there's no need to send to me your enrollment slips one by one. All I need to have is your email. Okay? So see you next week for our next activity for your biostatistics. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
doctor.
doctor.
Thank you,
Thank you,
doctor.
doc. Thank you,
Thank
doctor.
you, doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank